What is up everyone, and welcome to some more F1 23 League Racing for round 5 of the Streamers & Co VRL. This time we are going to be in Belgium, and it is going to be a sprint weekend, much like the real life Belgian Grand Prix was a sprint weekend as well. We have one new driver in here this week standing in for AlphaTauri, and that is going to be Blitz. We have a few stand-ins here and there. You know, it's not too important who's driving for what. All that matters is that I'm here driving for Haas as always, and we've got Antoine back in the team as well. So yeah, building from last time out in Spain, where we had a bad strategy and safety car kind of screwed us a little bit. We ended up coming back to finish 8th there. I'm hoping to get a bit of a stronger finish here if we possibly can. Maybe looking at top 5, something like that. And I've seen something which has made me very happy, and that is the fact that it is going to be raining in both the sprint and the race. So yeah, encouraging signs for the weekend. Looks like there is going to be a little bit of rain, and yeah, that is pretty encouraging. But it is going to be dry for qualifying, so we at least have to get in a good lap first. And well, this is our first flying lap. You can see we overfueled the car by accident. Brilliant stuff. And it's a 1:43.9. Not going to be anywhere near good enough to challenge these guys. You know, Dougie and Dustin are going to be in the 1:41s. I think I'm going to have to do a lot better to challenge those guys. But we go out on on the same set of tyres by accident, actually, but on a lot less fuel this time. So we end up doing a very similar time, another 1:43.9. And at this point, I was thinking to myself, man, I really need to get my act together. Down in 14th at the moment. We need to do a lot better than that if we want to do well here. But fortunately, I managed to finally hook up a lap I'm actually happy with on the what would this be? The third time of asking. We're on the right amount of fuel, we're on the right tyres, everything is absolutely fine and dandy, and yeah, we're 1.2 seconds up as we come through Blanchimont into the bus stop chicane. And yeah, you can see now I'm gaining even more time through here. It's going to be about 1.4 seconds more than that as we come through, and as we come up to the line, it's a 1:42.4, which is good enough for P6. Fan-fucking-tastic. An absolutely amazing result for us, given the caliber of drivers in here. You know, we beat Rings, we beat Blitz, we beat GG Josh. You know, all of these guys who I feel like I probably don't have quite as much pace as on an average weekend. We have managed to get ahead of them. And not only that, but this man on your screen right now, Dougie Falcons, who I don't know if he's improving or not, but he had a 5-place grid penalty because he actually collided with a car who'd run out of fuel. And so, you know, that was not really his fault, but unfortunately it did give him a 5-place grid penalty, which means that, you know, for the sprint he'll be starting in his normal position, but then in quali, wherever he finishes in the sprint, he will be losing 5 places off of that. If I'm not mistaken, he, you know, he probably will end up winning the sprint, just for the simple fact that I think he probably still is the fastest driver in the league. You know, obviously he's got a bit of competition with Dustin now, who seems to be a few tenths off of him. You know, only 1/10 between the two of them in the end there, so pretty good. And then you had Lewis, Ando, Captain Liam, myself, Ringy, Blitz, Simple Name, and Josh, the top 10 there, separated by 1.6 seconds. Obviously a few more drivers further afield from there, but you know, those are going to be probably the big protagonists. Antoine only P11 on his return, me out qualifying him. Actually, it's not something you see too often. That guy is a brilliant driver, but it is raining for the sprint, and I imagine it'll be raining for the whole time, so I think we're going to adjust the setup here ever so slightly. We'll be on a set of intermediates for the whole session, but I'm going to just roll back the brake bias a little bit, and then drop the tire pressures just a tiny little bit, in the hopes that we can get a little bit of a better run. Just as a word of warning, you will see potentially a driver called Beak on the grid at some point. He was actually planning on spectating the race. And so what happened was basically there was a glitch that it accidentally put him in a car instead. But anyway, the lights come on and the lights go out, and you can see that we have had a decent start compared to Captain Liam. We're side by side with him at the moment. Ando and Lewis Crazy also side by side, just ahead. And if you look in my mirror right now, you'll be able to see an AlphaTauri go flying. That was Ando. I went very wide to try and avoid any contact there, and I just about managed to avoid it, but it came with the caveat of losing a bunch of positions. Antoine onto the grass there, I end up gaining position back on him, so we're back up into P7. But yes, we kind of gone nowhere off the start, really. Blitz, the big gainer there, up a few positions, up at the P5. And yeah, it is going to be me in P7 at the moment, coming under pressure now behind from GG Josh. Had to move to the outside a little bit just so I could see the racing line, to be honest with you there, because I was so deathly afraid that in these conditions I might accidentally go steaming into the back of Captain Liam, and well, I didn't want to end my race or his that way. So yeah, trying to be very cautious, but we are going to try and go up the inside of Captain Liam now as we go through the hairpin and into the following no-name corner, into the left-hander. You can see that, well, he got very close to me at one point there, and so I just was a little bit nervous to go wheel-to-wheel with him, actually, and in the end, that caused me to lose out the position again. But meanwhile, GG Josh behind, he had some kind of connection issue or something like that, it seems, and he's gone. But yeah, for the moment, we're battling with Ringy, with Blitz, with Captain Liam. It's probably about a four-way fight, I would say, and then a little bit further afield, you've got Lewis, Dustin, and Dougie battling over that P1 position. Dougie holding on to it in the Aston Martin for the time being. But yeah, you know, not an amazing start from us by any stretch of the imagination, but you know, a P7 is definitely a solid result for us, no matter what happens. So yeah, we will see if we can make any more progress further up the field. See if we can keep Doddy behind as well. You know, he's a pretty pacey driver. Definitely had the measure of us in some of the previous races, but not sure whether he's got it on this occasion or not. But yeah, now as we move towards the end of lap 2, you can see that Ringy ahead. He's got a 3-second time penalty, and if we can stay within the 3-second range of him, then we could be on potentially for you know, another position gained. As we gain one on Dustin there, I think he had some kind of incident at turn 1. He was round or something like that, and that is yeah, that is him down into P8 at the moment, and now coming under pressure from Phil and the McLaren, I believe. And as we move towards the end of lap 4 now, you can see that I've just about managed to stay in range of Ringy, but not quite, and we're trying to get ahead of Captain Liam if we possibly can, but he has the better traction on the exit of the bus stop chicane, but he's got the 3-second penalty as well, and that means that I'm probably going to finish in this position no matter what happens. It's going to be P5 for us if we can hold on to this for the remainder of the lap. But, you know, Doddy's still fairly close behind. You know, maybe he might be able to catch up to us. Really, what I wanted to do was finish within 3 seconds of Ringy, but unfortunately, that's sort of not battle so much, but Liam kind of going wide at the exit of the bus stop chicane kind of caused me to go a little bit slowly through there because I was trying to get ahead of him. I couldn't take my sort of natural line. That kind of held me up a little bit. You know, I think Ringy as well just had a bit of pace on me, generally speaking, as well. I'm not going to put it all on Liam there. As you can see, he has another big moment through the chicane at the end of the Camel Straight, and that allows me to actually make my way through, and that pushes us up into P5 proper. You can see that both Blitz and Ringy ahead both have 3-second time penalties, so this could potentially, for me, spell you know, something pretty good if I can get within range of them. However, I think I'm going to have to prey on maybe a battle between them, given that it is the last race. But in any case, you know, I think a P5 here is going to be super solid. You know, it's a sprint race only, so it's only going to be 4 points if we finish here. But you know, 4 points is better than no points. That's the number we got in Spain, of course. And yeah, you know, I'm gonna see if I can maybe make my way even further up the order in the race. You know, all these dudes in front of me, Blitz, Lewis, and Ringy. Obviously, Dougie will be starting behind me with that 5-place grid penalty. But these 3 guys in front of me, they're all pretty fast dudes, so I would not be surprised if they will finish ahead of me come race day. But certainly for the time being, we're looking pretty good. As you can see, that Dougie crosses the line, takes P1 once again. He's absolutely smurfing in this league as Lewis came home to take P2, and then it was Blitz and Ringy with the 3-second penalties applied. It doesn't make a difference to me, but we do finish ahead of Captain Liam, who loses out on P5. That is, oh no, sorry, P6 it would be to Doddy with the penalty. But I believe Liam actually got 1 additional penalty as well, which pushed him down into P8. Post-race, because the reason that you saw that spinning AlphaTauri in my mirror was because Captain Liam hit him at turn 1, and so yeah, he ended up getting a penalty. But in any case, you know, it did mean that the top 8 here was Dougie, Lewis, Blitz, Ringy, myself, Doddy, and then Phil and Liam swapped around from what you can see on your screen. But yeah, you know, we'll see now if we can, from P4 on the grid, make even more progress up the order in the race proper. 15 laps. It looks like there is going to be some rain for a very small period of time, but the majority of the race is going to be dry. So we're actually going to move back towards a dry setup, increase the tyre pressures a little bit, move the brake bias rearward, and yeah, we'll see what we can do. We're going to be starting on the mediums, I think. Not sure. We'll see what we're doing with the strategy here. Yeah, it looks like we're going to be doing medium soft. So we're going to try and go until the rain on a set of medium compound tires, and then maybe for our mandatory pit stop, we can pit onto a set of intermediates. I think that might be possibly the most sensible idea. We'll see if it rings true. I'm not quite sure what the strategy is going to be here. It really just depends on how things play out. But we're going to get ready to go for the second time here in Belgium as the lights come on. And the lights go out, and we've had a very good getaway compared to Ringpiece there. You can see we're already alongside him. A better getaway than Blitz in the AlphaTauri as well. And we're going to try and go around the outside of him. Not be as compromising as we were last time. You know, I gave up quite a few positions as we've had a few disqualifications there. And I've got a driver putting pressure on me up the inside, which is going to switch to the outside for Eau Rouge. And that's Doddy. He wanted to go wheel to wheel through Radion. I was having absolutely none of it. I was like, it's all yours, mate. Take what you can. Dougie as well now putting pressure on me as well. You know, he's on the soft compound tyres. I'm not going to fight this one too hard. And that's me down into P6. You know, Dougie's super fast. He's probably going to end up winning the race anyway, despite the fact that he started P6. I can't really see anyone who I think maybe has the measure of him on this occasion. We're coming under pressure from Captain Liam as well. He's going to try and go up the inside of us at the hairpin. It's a reverse of what happened at the beginning of the sprint where I was on the inside of him, but maybe we can try and push him out like he did to us at the corner with no name. But no, he goes very tight to the inside with us. That was very nearly contact between me and him. He gave me just enough room. But in the end, what that meant is that I had a pretty compromised run, which put me under pressure from Dustin Bruins there as well, and that has pushed us down into P8. So a pretty poor start for us. We've lost 4 positions on the opening lap, but you know, hopefully we can capitalize on you know, some fighting up front, maybe a few incidents and that kind of thing. And let's at least try and keep Phil and Mark in the McLarens behind us if we possibly can. It was not great, the start, but you know, there's still a lot of time to try and salvage a result from this race, and we'll see what we can do. Hopefully we can stay with Dustin to at least get the DRS to him and Captain Liam up front. But you can see that Phil actually is very close to me on this occasion. We break a little bit late and go quite deep into the bus stop chicane, but we managed to recover it. And as we exit the bus stop chicane now, you can see that we're going to hold on to this P8 for the time being. But yeah, we really just caught napping a little bit. Maybe it was the medium tyres that did it, I don't know. Yeah, but these guys are on mediums as well, and even they got ahead of me. I think just generally I, you know, was maybe a bit too reserved at the start there. Maybe should have been a little bit more aggressive, defended a bit more aggressively. But, you know, I didn't want to cause any incidents because, let me tell you, the people in this league, they are not forgiving. It's like you murdered their firstborn every time you try and drive a little bit aggressively with them. So, yeah, I thought it would be better safe than sorry. Speaking of incidents, though, there is Doddy. He had a bit of a moment at the chicane, which has resulted in him going round. And that is me up into P7 as a result. Now we move on to lap 4, and you can see that Ryan McLean has gone for a very aggressive dive bomb from 5/10 back. He decided to go up the inside on those soft compound tyres. The rain is starting to come down, but the track is not wet enough yet to justify moving on to the intermediate tyres. Thank goodness, because if it were, I really should have started on the softs. But we have a bit of a moment going through Radion there. Thought it was going to go around, but we managed to catch it just about. But that is going to compromise our run all the way down the Kemmel Straight, and it means we're probably not going to be able to catch Ryan in time for the end of the straight, which is a shame because I definitely feel like I do have the potential to maybe get the jump on him. Not sure. We're going to do a quick weather check here, I think. And yeah, they're still saying that the dry compound tyres are the faster compounded tyres for the time being. But yeah, here we can see the 2 Alfa Romeos, Ryan and Liam, going wheel to wheel. I'm going to try and sneak around the outside of Liam as well if I can. Not quite. We actually get squeezed off the track fully there. Right? You know, maybe he thought I wasn't quite alongside him, but I feel like I was maybe entitled to a bit of room there. I don't know what you think. Either way, he's had a bigger moment through Pouon, and that has allowed me to get through and up into P7 once again. So we're hovering around P7, P8 for the majority of this race so far, these first 4 laps. but you know, maybe now we'll be able to really start stretching our legs a little bit. The order at the moment is the Aston of Dougie, from Lewis, from Blitz, from who's in the Red Bull? That would be Dustin, and then Ringy, Ryan, myself, Phil, Liam, and Mark in the McLaren as well. That's the top 10. And yeah, we're still trying to stay with Ryan. You know, I think those soft compound tyres are going to start going off for the time being, as Ryan actually looks for a move on Ringy, the race winner in Spain, of course, Ringy was, and currently running P5 here, not having a bad time of things. Meanwhile, yeah, Ryan kind of got compromised a little bit there, which has caused me to go up the inside of him. We make a bit of contact there. I didn't really know where to go. I tried to stay to the inside, but unfortunately we made a bit of contact. Fortunately, he didn't get any damage. I didn't get any damage, and it didn't ruin any of our races. You know, obviously we've had we did have one contact moment in Britain, which wasn't so nice for either of us, as Dustin has had another incident there through Pouon this time, it seems, and that has allowed me to get up to P6. If we can get ahead of Ryan here, we'll be in the top 5, which is what I'm targeting for this race. I definitely think it's achievable. We've broken out of the DRS range of Phil, as Ringy's gone into the pits, and that has allowed us to get into what would it be, P5. But yeah, we've now said that if we're going to box again, we're going to box for inters. It doesn't really necessarily look like it's going to be that way, but the rain is only going to keep coming down, and so I reckon that by the time the pit stop phase comes around, it will be time for intermediate tyres. Things are starting to get pretty wet now. And yeah, as we move on to lap 7, you can see that there's something going on here. Yellow flag, and there's a safety car. I'm not quite sure what for, but yes, that is a safety car called on lap 7. So I think we're going to box this lap and try and put the intermediate tyres on, and hopefully that will be the correct strategy. We'll see whether it rings true or not. But you can see that the track is getting pretty damp now. It's still probably around sort of the crossover period, I would say. It's not quite clear what is going to be the correct strategy here. You can see I'm checking the race director. Lewis Crazy has actually gone onto another set of dries, and what I found out here is that everyone in the top 4 here, Ryan, Blitz, Lewis, and Dougie, they've all gone on to the dry compound of tyre. I am one of the only people on the inters here, along with Phil Skills. Only me and him have decided to go onto the inters, and everybody else has decided to go onto the dries. We just about come out the pits ahead of Phil. So if it gets any heavier, I actually think we could be in the box seat to win this race right now. And I was kind of licking my lips at this moment, saying, you know, if the rain gets heavier, there is a real chance for us to maybe win this race. And by this point, you know, they were saying sort of it's right on the crossover period where dries and inters will have very similar pace. And I was thinking to myself, well, this is huge, right? If I can get ahead of these guys quickly, then there is a real chance that I could be victorious here. So I'm just going to try and get ahead of Ryan as quickly as I possibly can. You know, obviously the straights, they're not going to be too affected, but in the corners, I should be able to make up these positions with sort of relative ease. It should be fairly trivial for me. You can see we've had our first track limits warning of the session as we get up into the top of Radion. Just a bit of an oversteer moment there for me. Don't want to get too many more of those. I would hate to get a penalty. That would really compromise the position we're in at the moment. But we do need to clear Ryan pretty quickly, because I do want to make sure that we can keep Phil behind. And then we're definitely at least going to be on for a podium here as we go up the inside of Ryan at the hairpin. We do what we couldn't do earlier on the dry tyres in the wet tyres, relative ease, and we are through into P4, and now we're putting pressure on Lewis Crazy on those soft compound tyres. He's struggling quite a lot at the moment. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to make this move or not, but yeah, you can see that Dottie behind has got a penalty as well. He's on the intermediate tyres too, so maybe he'll be right up there by the end as well, not sure. Either way, you can see that, yeah, I'm putting a lot of pressure on Lewis, but I can't quite find the position to make the move at the moment, despite the fact that I'm clearly very fast through these corners. You can see he's just defending beautifully. I think he knows that this is for position. You know, he's under no illusions that if I get past him, I'm probably making this overtake stick. I think these guys must be trying to stick this out on the dry tyres, if I had to guess. That's the only reason I can think of as to why they wouldn't have pitted by now. So yeah, 1.9 seconds to Dougie in front as we make our way past Lewis. And man, my heart at this point was absolutely pounding. I knew what was at stake here. This was a race win if ever I've seen one. And as we make our way onto lap 12 now, you can see that Blitz ahead has got a 3-second penalty. So if we can get ahead of him, then we will legitimately be in P2, and we could be on for our second P2 of the season, second podium. And the only other person we'd have to clear would be Dougie. You know, he's on those medium tyres as well. We are starting to overheat the tyres a little bit as we almost go into the side of Blitz there. I'm trying to race with him at the moment, but it's pretty hard, you know, when he's on much slower tyres. But we do just about stay behind him for the time being. I think this is slightly starting to compromise my my attempts at beating Dougie as we go quite deep into the corner. I tried to brake late to get ahead of him. I thought I'd have more grip than I did, but unfortunately, due to the tyres overheating a little bit, it just meant that yeah, we ended up staying behind him. And that is going to be potentially very costly for us if we can't get past him quickly. I think that might have spoiled our chances of beating Dougie, and you can just kind of see that the rain is starting to ease off a little bit with only 3 laps to go here. So I'm wondering whether the Inters are going to move even further out of range. You can see that I'm starting to being closed down by Lewis a little bit here as well. And maybe I should have stayed on the setup I was on before. You can see that I'm already on 35% tyre wear. Really, we've only done 4 racing laps on these tyres. Well, 3 racing laps actually, because we did 2 laps behind the safety car. It came in at the end of lap 9, which means we did lap 10, 11 and 12, and those are the only ones that we've done the full laps at the moment, as Blitz has a big moment coming through that corner, and that's going to allow me to try and go around the outside of him at the hairpin. I don't know who's going to win out on this occasion. Will it be me? Will it be Blitz? I think I just about still have the superior speed on the intermediate tyres, and so that is us up into P2 now. And yeah, we'll see if we can set our sights on Dougie, but I just worry that the rain might be easing up just at the right time for him. And we might just have to settle for P2 here. But with all these penalties behind, I feel like even if I lose out on these positions, it won't be the end of the world as long as I can, you know, still stick within 3-second range of the guys around me. I think that's all I really care about at this point. But, you know, as we make our way to the top of Radion, you can see that Blitz has suddenly started closing me down a lot. I think his mediums have come back into range. I'm not too concerned because he's got a 6-second penalty, of course. And, yeah, he's driving his way through up into P2 once again. I'm going to let him go. I'm not going to worry about this too much. You know, there's still going to be parts of the track which are a bit wet that I'll probably be superior in. But generally speaking, I don't need to fight this one too hard, I don't think. And as long as I can sort of stay with him, stay within 6 seconds, which over the course of 2 laps, even if we were on a bone dry track, I still think I would probably be able to stay within 6 seconds of him now on these intermediate tyres. Yes, they're quite worn at this point, but I don't think it's so dramatic that it's going to be the end of the world. You can see we were piling a little bit of pressure on him, and all the while what this was doing was backing me up into Doddy and Lewis here. You know, once again, I wasn't too concerned because, again, they're on 3-second time penalties, so even if they do get ahead of me, it doesn't matter because, yeah, I just need to stay with them within a 3-second range. As you can see, Doddy goes up the inside, and that leaves the door open for Lewis to go through as well. I didn't think that was a particularly fair move, I've got to be honest, but I wasn't too mad because I was like, as long as I stay within 3-second range of them, it doesn't really matter. As long as I stay ahead of Phil, that's still going to be a P2 finish for me at the moment with all these penalties applied. So with the DRS, you know, I'm pushing hard. I was thinking about burning battery, but I did want to save one for the run through Blanchemont as well, up to the bus stop chicane a little bit later. So I'm trying to save a little bit of battery for that stage as well. And yeah, that is going to mean that Lewis Crazy is up into P3 at the moment. With that penalty, all I need to do is stay within 2.3 seconds of him. And I think the podium is still going to be probably me or Dougie, me, Phil, as things stand for the time being. But yeah, that is a bit of a worry how far Lewis is getting away. You know, 1.5 seconds to Lewis at the moment. It could be him getting P2 at this point. You know, he's almost broken away from Phil, certainly. So I think as we go wide at Pouon there as well, we've got one more track limits warning, so we do need to be careful here in these last few corners. Otherwise, things could really go south for us quite quickly. You know, we could be finishing behind Phil, and he's sort of someone who we've been battling with in the championship this whole time as well. You know, we're pretty close close on points, so I don't want to be too bad about this. But Dottie is really struggling on those inters. You can see I feel like I have a little bit more pace than him possibly, and he's just holding me up this whole time, which is allowing Lewis to get away. And if he holds me up through the bus stop chicane, then we could be in for a real problem here. You know, I'm 60% plus worn on these tyres at the moment. As we come through the run through Belgium, you can see I'm really struggling. And we go off the track, we get a penalty, so that's going to allow Phil to get ahead of us at the end of the race now. I'm going to have to try and overtake Dottie on track if I want to finish ahead of him, and all of a sudden we've gone from being potential P2 to P6. I try and muscle my way past Dottie here, but you can see that I'm really struggling. I lose a bit of grip there, and we're round. We've broken our front wing, and that is going to allow not only Phil, but also Mark to finish ahead of us as well. Mark inheriting P4, that would be. Phil onto the podium, and there you go. That is the final order. Dougie 9 seconds up the road from Lewis, and then Phil, Mark, Dottie, Blitz, and myself in a disappointing P7. We could have had P2 there potentially. We could and should have done, but I just lost my head at the end. I just couldn't quite hold on to things. You know, I made a bit of contact there with Dottie. I'm not sure, you know, I think that was probably my fault, I'd have to say. You know, I was really struggling on the tyres, 60% worn, and I think in the end, you know, that just resulted in me losing out on the podium. I mean, that and me getting the penalty at Blanchimont as well, which, you know, it was just all, it was all a bit too much for me in the end, and that meant that in the end, yes, it was P7 and only 6 points scored. Still a decent haul of points, 10 points over the course of the weekend. As you can see, Dougie, for the 4th time in 5 races, wins, and of course the only race he didn't win was the one where he was actually in Hungary for the Hungarian Grand Prix and couldn't race. So yeah, he is really smurfing in this championship. His lead is something ridiculous, like 67 points after 5 races. But yeah, just to give you a rundown, the other points finishers there were Ringy, Josh, and Captain Liam. And I don't think any penalties were applied to anyone in the top 10, so nothing really matters. A few penalties applied further afield. Most of them were for the sprint, if I remember correctly. A few people got some bans from qualifying for next race and stuff like that. But generally speaking, yeah, it was a bit of a it was a bit of a shit show all around. You know, I remember we were in Discord for a long time after this, sorting out all of the incidents that happened between people. But generally speaking, yeah, not my finest race. Just losing a bit of my head a little bit at the end there. But hopefully I'll bounce back. I think the next race they said is going to be in Texas, so I'm really looking forward to that one. I go quite well there. But that is going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed, then please make sure you like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.